miss you guys. Hope y'all are all doing good.
Hi, KCC.
Hi, KCC. We miss you, we love you, and we're staying safe.
Good morning, KCC. It's good to see you again. Glad you're able to join us here midweek in Jimmy's office. And so, good morning, Jimmy.
Morning.
You doing okay?
I am. It's
All right.
great. The weather's unbelievable. Love having a little last taste of kind of fallish weather before we head into the oven of summer.
Yes, this does not feel like after Easter for sure.
No.
So tell us a little bit about what's been going on here at church. What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What's going on in your heart? And what are you looking forward to? What's happening this next week?
Okay. Well, first of all, the sermon's leaving the building. I figured with the series title Uncommon that it would be appropriate to probably preach from an uncommon place, and so you guys need to tune in Sunday and see where that winds up being shot from. But thank you so much for the encouragement, both for the sermons and just the letters and cards and emails you sent in for the staff, for our efforts to try to make this as a productive a time as well as as pleasant a time for our church family. You've noticed, and we just want to say thank you for your encouragement. But Sunday's sermon is going to be aimed at specifically helping all of us with probably one of the more difficult areas of our lives, and that's forgiveness. We all struggle with that, and God's got some very specific things to say about how we are able to do that in a way that not only blesses other people but blesses us. Speaking of sermons, Francis Assisi says that we ought to all be preaching the gospel at all times, and when necessary use words. And we have some of our folks who are preaching some pretty bold sermons, which filters back through some of the people that have been helped, talking about those who've come to their aid. And then also just it's amazing how this gets around, and we want to talk about some of that. We've got some, again, some of our college kids are just doing some great things as far as getting groceries for people, taking medicine to people. But one of our brothers found out one of our widows didn't have a garden that she really hoped to get started, and went over and tilled that for her. We had someone who was struggling to be able to clean their house, and so we had a group of folks come over and do that, clean that house up in a way that was needed. Someone was in need of a washer and dryer being replaced, and that got handled at a very difficult time for this specific household. Just on, and it just, a lot of great things are going on, not just some of the things the news feeds that we hear, another record day of deaths in some place, or by God's grace it seems like we've peaked as far as the number of new cases of the coronavirus, so it seems like we're on the downhill side. But our elders are encouraging all of us to try to follow the mandates of the governor as much as we can, and that is to continue the social distancing and washing of our hands, wearing the mask where we can, and just grateful that God is doing some awesome things in the midst of some really trying stuff.
All right. So, are you a mask wearer? People want to know.
No, I'm actually a bandana wearer.
You're a bandana wearer?
Yeah, we do a pretty good job of trying to keep our social distancing here, so I don't feel like that's necessary. And we really, our staff stay pretty healthy, and if there's been even a remote sign of a cough or a cold, we've stayed home. We're rotating. A matter of fact, that's probably one thing I want to make our church aware is that our office hours are 9 to 3. We've shortened those a little bit. And then we also have some of the different men that are on staff taking different shifts that we're here at the office. We're trying to give as many hours as we possibly can to Vicki and to Cindy, and they are just the hub of answering a lot of questions, getting a lot of things done. Again, we stepped out of the norm, and so there's a lot of new jobs that they're responsible for. You're doing the same thing,
Yeah.
Taping and editing the film that we do, which takes a lot of time. So we're all doing a little bit different roles, but everybody's flexing, and that's our office hours. There's 9 to 3. So just wanted our church to be aware of that.
All right. I'm not a mask wearer. I haven't done it yet. So the big question is, will you forgive me?
I will forgive you. I forgive you even before you have offended me. So
That's beautiful.
yeah, I know.
Isn't that beautiful?
I give and I give and I give.
You do. I've heard that line somewhere before.
Yeah, I stole it from my good friend. One of the things that I really want to make the church aware about is reminding you of the cool Zoom classes we've got going on. Troy Howard has his Wednesday night class, and he's doing some of the classics. Troy Howard, I'm sorry. Troy Robertson. I talked to Joy and Troy Howard this morning, so that's still on my mind. But Troy Robertson, Uncle Troy. And he just does a great thing with anything he teaches, but he's doing some of the Christian classics. We did David and Goliath last week, and I don't know what he has up for us this week, but he said it's going to come out of the Old Testament. So Chad's also doing his class
Sunday mornings.
On Sunday mornings, and he's going to be diving into the book of Acts starting this next Sunday. So he's always got some great perspectives on anything he teaches. So it's just fun to see the faces of folks in their living room. Some folks don't want their faces seen that early in the morning, so they keep the screens blacked out. But we encourage everyone to come and be a part of that. So that's a lot of fun.
Cool. I know Clark has made several of our kids' vids, and some of y'all know he was on paternity leave helping Maddie, and of course that's been interesting for them because usually you have a mom come and stay for a week or two and all this, and with the COVID-19 stuff going on, that's even difficult with, so I mean.
Well, and then Clark's a germaphobe. You'd think it'd be Maddie,
Yeah.
but Clark's a germaphobe, and so he's really kept a tight rein on who's
Yeah.
been able to come. No one's been allowed in the house, and if they have, the parents are only there for an hour, and they were masked and gloved, and so it's been tough for all of us.
Yeah, it's
So,
been interesting.
yeah.
But he does, in the midst of all that, him and even Elcida and Cindy have put out some kid vids, and you can find those on our YouTube channel. And we are publishing today, we're actually our fourth Bible study on Psalm 23 for the youth group.
All right, awesome.
And so that'll be out tonight, and they can watch that, and just asking our teens to memorize Psalm 23. And today we're on that last section. So it's been good. And we do Zoom as well for the youth group. So, and that's just interesting, but we're just trying to put our best foot forward and try to stay connected.
Yeah.
I know some of our summer plans have been changed with our camp being canceled just for health reasons. But, I can't help but start thinking, what are the God possibilities in all this? And honestly, I've been doing youth ministry since '95 as a full-time intern and full-time since '98. I've never seen anything like this, and you haven't seen
No,
it.
I haven't.
And so we're all just saying, well,
We're figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, let's do the best job we can to encourage people to follow Jesus. And a good way to do that, remind us again of the St. Francis of Assisi quote.
Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words.
There you go. So, anything else you got for us in closing?
No, I just have a feeling that I probably talked to over 60 different homes, and how upbeat everyone is right now surprised me. I really have not made a single phone call and talked to a single person who is down. Yeah, they'd like to be doing more and some other things, but just right now the morale's high. Anticipating that we're probably on the downside of this. Don't know exactly if it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we're together again. We're all hoping that sometime, maybe mid-May, it may be even as far as June. But
maybe early May. But
I hope so.
We're trying, yeah. We're just, yeah. It's strange living in this. What's next?
The people are seizing the day. They're not
Yeah.
they're not just holding up. They're taking the opportunity to make extra FaceTime calls with their family, spend some extra quality time with God and the Word, and that's what I want to encourage everyone is especially get outside with these beautiful days we're having. Do some walking, and as you're walking up and down the neighborhoods, praying for your neighbors as you go. You don't have to knock on the door and let them know you're doing that. Just covering people in prayer. And then staying in contact with the body as much as possible. Everybody makes some phone calls because I've not heard from a single person that they've been over contacted.
Yeah.
So anyway, God's got this. We've been saying that from the get-go. Isaiah says, "Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid." And we're not. So
It's good.
yay God.
Want to finish out just reminding you to be prayerful for several groups of people. We've got our elderly who might be compromised with their immunity and are concerned about getting this virus. Continue to pray for them, our elderly, those of you who have specific ones in your heart from here at church.
Some of our caregivers that are on the front lines. I talked to Vicki Brand yesterday. Her and her husband are both.
They're not doctors, but
no.
tell them, what do they do?
They are in the food service business with HEB, and so they're on the front lines of making sure people have groceries.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot. Our cases here in Kerrville are very, very small compared to the amount of population we have. But please continue to pray for anyone in the food service business, both who are serving now, and then those who are impacted because if these camps close this summer, I talked to a gentleman yesterday, and he's in the food service business. Half of his accounts for the whole year are tied to the summer camp business.
Yeah.
And it's going to ripple in some ways, but please pray for our people who are on all the front lines of servicing other people at this crazy time.
Yeah. We also want to keep in mind our teachers who I think a lot of them, as I'm talking to them, are kind of hitting the stride, learning how to prepare lessons for our students. And on the flip side of that, you got parents, a lot of parents who are trying to figure out, learning this new math.
Yeah.
And
learning how to spend this much time with their children.
Yeah, so it has been, again, like you said, people on the front lines, and we've got all kinds of pharmacists, healthcare providers, therapists at our church, not just physical therapists, but like Chad Warner, meeting with people and learning how to do that online as much as possible. So just continue to pray for those folks who are, like you're saying, on the front lines. We're blessed to be here today. And why don't you go ahead and just close out on a word of prayer, and we'll be done with our conversation with Jimmy.
Weekly update. Father, we love you, and we trust you to navigate us through the shadowy places of life. Thank you for the health that we have, and for those who are struggling today, we ask your special healing mercies upon them. We ask for wisdom and discernment for our government leaders at every level. Trying to discern what the next steps are. And God, I just pray that we're graceful for each other. Although we choose to handle this crisis in different ways, we all have each other's best interest at heart, your best interest at heart. And so I just pray that grace flows out of us because we know for sure it's flowing into our hearts. We lift up all those who are on the front lines of servicing people's needs right now, and they have to come in contact with other people, and sometimes the distance of 6 feet is impossible. The close proximity is just absolutely necessary, and so please, I just pray a protective shield, an angelic shield around them, and just ask for you to empower us to be able to serve where we can. Yes, we want to wash our hands, but we want to be the hands and feet of Jesus wherever we can be. And so please lead us in that through the power of your Spirit. In your Son's precious name, amen.
Amen.
Think about his love. Think about his goodness. Think about his grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. How could I forget his love? How could I forget his mercy? He satisfies, he satisfies, he satisfies my desires. Think about his love. Think about his goodness. Think about his grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. Even when satisfies. He satisfies my desires. Think about His love. Think about His goodness. Think about His grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love, His love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. Blessed be your name in a land that is plentiful, where streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name when I'm found in the desert place, or I walk through the wilderness. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name when the sun's shining down on me, when the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name on a road marked with suffering, but there's pain in the offering. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. You give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glory.